owners, the restaurant owners, who want the opportunity to provide live music a little louder. Then you think about the fact that, you know, who comes first, the condo owners or the restaurant? You know, when people move into a downtown area that has restaurants, outdoor restaurants, like Madison's is a perfect example, and they have live music, you know, is it okay for the condo owner to say, yeah, I know you were here first, and I know knew when I moved into this condo that this would be an issue, but I still expect you to turn your volume down when I'm ready to go to bed.
Well, the condos have been there for years, probably as long as any of the current management has had that business. You know, those restaurants change hands all the time.
Yeah, but there's always been restaurants downtown.
There have, but they haven't always had loud music at night. They just started that after the condos were built.
Yeah.
And
but
so the condos and the restaurants kind of came together at the same time, and they both sort of have to respect each other's rights.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm looking for a compromise, and you're rejecting it. So okay, well.
No, I'm just playing the devil's advocate.
Oh,
I'm trying because
I thought that was part of the headphones, and those are little horns.
Now you can't insult me on my program, Pete, because I'll take you to task. So basically,
it was a joke.
So basically, you're unforgiving as far as making a compromise of saying at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock.
No, they could start earlier and have the same amount of time. Or they could have a lunch show if they wanted to. All
right, Pete,
they could have breakfast entertainment, which I've been to places that had live music at breakfast. So, you know, instead of the alarm clock for the condo people at 7 o'clock, the 130 decibels comes in and they say, oh, it's morning.
So if you're not willing to take another look at the noise ordinance, and I know some people
I have taken a look at it, and I've made a decision.
To change it.
No, I won't change it.
Okay. And there's even a compromise saying, well, maybe there's a district that will allow that, so it will
well, if the district doesn't have any condos.
Okay. That there you go. So
well,
okay.
There could be a district where there weren't any condos, couldn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that would be
but
perfect.
Then there aren't any though.
Oh, there aren't any.
There aren't any.
There are condos everywhere.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Well, where would you suggest then? Give me a district without condos that are zoned for that kind of entertainment.
Well, there is a area where there aren't any condos, but I think the zoning would have the industrial park, but the zoning would have to be changed.
Correct.
But if it were something that would make the condo people happy and the entertainment people happy.
Let's talk about the condo people downtown. There's been other issues as well of you know, that we've dealt with in the past, is the difference between some of the condo owners, not all of the condo owners, because you're just assuming that every condo owner feels that way you do, but there's also a younger generation that lives in those condos as well and would like it to have a little bit more adaptability to what's appealing to them. Not everyone who rents a condo has a age limit that keeps them in that type of lifestyle. But let's go on. We've talked about this in the past with the homeless in 5 Points Park. That was definitely an issue between the people who live downtown and the people who play downtown. Do you feel that when you are put in a position where you have to choose, are you more inclined to favor the condo owners?
Well, since we had that discussion last time with you and Michael and the tent thing, I looked up the tent cities that Michael was talking about, and it turns out those tents were your basic sporting goods stores rather than they weren't army tents. What I was talking about.
Okay.
Army tent. Oh, are we quitting now?
No. Well, we're not quitting.
Or doing
I want to talk about that as well.
Okay.
But we're getting ready for a hard break.
For a hard break.
So in like 10 seconds, you're going to hear the music and it'll cut you off. So I didn't want you to actually go there yet.
Oh, okay. 9, 8, 7.
All right, wait. We're talking with Pete Theisen, Sarasota City Commission candidate. And Pete, give me your website.
Pete-THE. Oh, wait a minute, it's wrong.
Pete, I'm running out of time.
Pete-THEISEN.com.
Okay, we'll be right back after these messages.
Wasn't expecting that question. All right.
I just didn't want you to to be in the middle of that and then have to be cut off.
Well,
So
you
I
probably
figured
did cut me off.
we'll start again, and I'll bring it back.
All right. Now, what compromises never please anybody. Both sides are, it's like,
So
remember what, oh, wait a minute, you didn't see it.
If you don't compromise, then who do you pick all the time to be the, who are you most likely to be
We did
ingratiated
compromise. We told them they could have earphones.
to?
Stay
That's
home.
not a compromise, Pete.
Well, of course it is. We were telling them they had to
It's not a
close.
compromise. First of all, it's not practical. Second of all, it's extremely expensive. And third, nobody's going to walk around with headsets on
no,
their head.
you'd use the Bluetooth ones. Didn't have to have that.
You still have to have something that you're wearing on your head, and that you're missing the
Well,
point.
you could use the earbud ones.
So,
if you
but then
wanted to.
I'm not going to go there. It's not a compromise.
Well, anyway, that's where I'm at. If it's not a compromise, I'm still saying there's a way for them to listen to their loud music, and there's a way for the condo owners to sleep, and that is a way. Whether or not you like it, or whether or not the earbud wearers like it, it's the people have to sleep. My God, you can't keep people up after time. What are you supposed to do? Change their lifestyle for like their sleep habits. My God.
If you move into an urban development that is, would you go to New York or Chicago or Philadelphia and insist on the same thing? Why is it that Sarasota is so different than the other places?
I think because of the real estate sales. That's a sacred business in Sarasota, the real estate sales. I would be very surprised to find a single condo owner who'd been told by the real estate agent that, oh, by the way, there's a really noisy bar down there, and they blast the
But
music.
Pete, you don't have to be told by the real estate agent. You look out the window and you say, wow, that's a busy restaurant. It's going to invite a lot of noise, even if it's not loud music. Just a lot of activity. Some people move down there because they like that activity. If
So
I
do
don't like
people
it, I'm not going to live in that area. I'm going to live where I live.
People who move to Sarasota, a lot of them have no experience living in a city at all. They've made their money out in the sticks. They're farmers or loggers
We're
or
talking
something.
about a younger generation.
Well, younger generation's not going to be able to afford those condos.
Okay, so then how are you going to attract a younger population here?
Well, I think we
We have housing that they can't afford. We have a nightlife district that basically isn't a nightlife. It's a day life that's extended until 10 o'clock. There are no jobs. And you have a city that is hurting.
Well, I don't think you're going to attract young people here. You never have.
But why can't you?
Well, because you've got all these old people who are incompatible.
Really? I don't think so.
Well,
because I know
if
my
they
parents like to go out and listen to music and concerts, and I know they stay out past 11 o'clock at night.
They don't do
have
it
a
every
very
night.
active nightlife.
They don't do it every night.
They do most nights.
Do they?
Oh yeah,
Well,
they
they're
go to a lot of events.
Well, they're unusual then. Well, if you want to, just go take a poll of the condos and see what they say. I know what they'll tell you. They'll tell you that they want it to close at 10 o'clock. That's, as a matter of fact, they're the ones who raised the issue. And it always was 10 o'clock until a few people started pushing the envelope. And then
Actually, I don't remember that to be true, Pete.
You don't?
I grew up here, and I remember the Gator Club when I was
there's
a little kid.
no condos around the Gator Club, isn't that?
Well,
right across from Madison's?
Yeah, but that's part of the district area. I mean, everything is set, so why don't you raise the time for the noise
Well,
ordinance?
because they're
during that?
talking about doing it at 5 Points, which is blocked to the west.
But that's what I'm saying. If you did it at a different area of town and allowed the restaurants further up to do it, then it would.
Okay, so maybe
that's a compromise.
Well, so what is the area being proposed? I thought it was the whole downtown.
I don't know. I'm just saying
Oh.
if you want to compromise, the compromise would be choosing a district maybe or an area, not headsets.
Yeah.
You gotta go back on.
Well,
Put your headset back on.
What?
Your favorite headset.
I I'm gonna wear this to the club.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to the Nilon Report. My name's Susan Nilon, in the studio with Pete Theisen. He is the candidate, one of the 6 candidates for the Sarasota City Commission. And we're kind of having a little battle over attracting a younger generation to Sarasota. I got to tell you, Pete, I grew up here. I've lived in the town for a very long time, and as a child, I knew that come high school, the minute it was over, I had to leave. I had to go away if I was going to have a life that I was looking at. This is when Rite Aid or Eckerd's was in town, and the only opportunity that I had was to be the head cashier. So I left. I went up to Philadelphia, I went to college up there, and I stayed for a long time. And the only time I visited Sarasota was in reverse. I'd come down several times a year to visit family. You lose that opportunity. We're a college town. We have a lot of students here. They make a lot of connections in this area, but we give them no opportunity, and we don't make them welcome here because of things like, well, tough, this is a retirement community, suck it up. And so what they do is they leave, but they leave with the talent that we've given them. They leave with the knowledge and the culture, and they go somewhere else, and someone else benefits from it. And when do they come back? If they come back at all? When it's time to retire. And I'm just saying that we're missing out on great opportunities by not being a little bit more open. And I'm speaking not as of the younger generation anymore.
So that should be my position?
No, I'm just giving you the other side of the coin. Your position is what you make of it. I just felt that you needed to hear from me on why I think that we're missing the bigger picture here.
No, I think the biggest thing you mentioned first was the job. And the people who control the jobs actually control the commissioners too.
Yeah, let's talk about that, Pete. Okay, so you say, who are those people that are controlling the current city commission?
The people who give them the most money, but they don't give it in their own name.
You mean during their campaign?
During their campaign.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, you will never
so you're going around in circles.
Am I?
Yeah.
Well, did I tell you about bundling?
You did. We talked about it last time.
We talked about it last time. Well, that's how it kind of is, and that's where all those big money benefits come from.
There's only one candidate who actually has any money to speak of, and that's candidate Richard Dorfman. Last time I looked, or the last reporting period, he had close to $27,000, $28,000. Everyone else was like $4,000, $3,000, a couple hundred. So are you saying that all those people that are endorsing Richard Dorfman, that it's not what it appears to be? Or are you saying that all those other candidates aren't telling the truth about their donations?
There's one way to find out.
Which is?
Elect him and see what he does.
That's just a grand accusation without being able to be specific about it.
Well,
I mean, that's just a whole lot of implications that I don't think is fair.
Never will be able to prove that because it's always going to be secret.
But that's easy to speculate then.
Well, there'd be a way to get it to not be secret.
Which is?
Allow people to give unlimited amounts of money. Let somebody write the guy a check for $20,000.
Well, but if they're trying to hide it, Pete, they probably wouldn't write a check for $20,000. They'd probably do what they're doing.
Well, the only way they're trying to hide it is because they're trying to give more than the limit.
Yeah. So,
if you let them go ahead and give the $20,000, then all right, rather than break the law, which is kind of what they're doing, but they'll never be prosecuted because they don't want a constitutional test of this. This would be, yeah.
Listen, I'm not saying that that doesn't go on. I agree. I've investigated other financial reports and other elections that did not pass the smell test.
Yeah.
However, you are a candidate now running for election, and
They didn't give me any.
well, but my point is that that's a strong statement to make about another candidate that you're running against without being able to say you have proof. You're just assuming that's what's going on.
Well, you look at the financials. They'll tell you. Some of them will tell you what their business is, and you'll see a lot of those businesses that that you hope would generate jobs that
Sure.
would attract, say,
Sure.
people like yourself when you were a teenager, but the wage rates continue at what, $7, $8 an hour.
Okay, and let's talk about other things in town as well. There's been a proposed idea of public transportation, and I know you're not really supportive of public transportation. We talked about that on the last.
Well, I am and I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not supportive of it as a substitute for concurrency. You can't put a bus stop there and say that's our concurrency. Maybe
Okay.
It might be better if you had a bus stop that included a turnout lane. That sweetens the pot a little bit, and then another few million for turnout lanes all the way down the road.
Okay, but we're talking,
yeah.
when I'm referring, I'm not talking about a bus stop. I'm talking about either trolleys that have been proposed by Suzanne Atwell, Commissioner Atwell. She wants to put a trolley system in when she went up to, I think it was Savannah or someplace in South Carolina maybe. She came back very excited about doing that. People have talked about putting electric vehicles that take you from the airport area where they have the museums and the Oslo and bringing them downtown. Are you receptive to any ideas like that, or making it a more walkable city like Gil Waters had proposed?
Where were you when I proposed that 4 years ago? It's on my website.
Okay, well,
it's still there.
but Pete, we can't assume that everybody listening to the show today has
Yeah, but you said I was not receptive to it, and actually I am, but it's not going to really catch on here, though.
Well, the last time we talked in this on my show, you were more into building more roads than you were into public transportation.
Well,
and you had said that people just won't ride the bus.
That's
and
right, they
therefore
won't ride it.
We have to require anybody who builds a building has to put in a road. That was
Right.
your quote.
Oh, but I'm not saying that we can't have the trolleys too.
Okay.
It's just that it's not going to solve the concurrency problem, because the trolley is going to go out 5 miles and you're going to have to go 6. And
no, you're right.
Yeah.
But it is a part of a network that
yes,
has
it's
to
a
start
part
somewhere.
of the network. Yes.
Okay, and I'm speaking with Pete Theisen. He's running for the Sarasota City Commission. And Pete, I want to talk to you about the police department in regard to their pensions. We talked a little bit about that the last time as well. The city's had a big problem with delivering what they promised. Some people say it's bankrupting the city. Do you have any ideas of how we can fix that problem?
I had an interesting conversation with Chris Lyons last week, and he said the city is far from bankrupt.
Okay.
He says that they could file bankruptcy if they want, but the judge would just tell them to increase the taxes. However, no politician can say the T word. It's something that you just can't do.
But you're a politician.
I am a politician. I can't say the T word.
Why not?
Because I'm a politician. I can't say it.
So
Now, you
raising
talk
taxes
about circular logic. It would be the last resort. Interestingly enough, and I think I might have mentioned this last time, there's a provision in the city charter which, under certain circumstances, the commissioners are required to raise the taxes. And that's not that the commissioners would be raising the taxes, but that the law required them to.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, last budget contained 7 tax increases.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably know that. You maybe know it better than I do, because you're more like taxable. And so anyway, so it's like they have increased taxes, but my preferred way of doing it would be to look at all the functions of the city and organize the functions of the city into what the core functions of government were, and then prioritize the ones that weren't core functions. And then some of them might have to be suspended for a year or two if they're really not necessary, and we're
Do you have any
out of money.
idea of an example of what that would be?
Well, no, I haven't. I have the budget there. Unfortunately, it's broken down into departments rather than what the departments do.
Okay.
This would take a lot of staff input to do it. But I think it's time that they did, because, you know, if we're operating in the sunshine, oh, and incidentally, there's some people who don't like sunshine at all.
Like what? Like
Well,
who?
like Barwin, for instance.
City manager Tom Barley?
Yes.
He doesn't like the sunshine?
Does not like the sunshine.
In what way?
I took that video camera to this meeting that we had of myself and the other candidates, and I said to him, I held the camera up, I says, "Is this in the sunshine?" "Oh, I prefer you didn't." So I didn't. I want to start off on the wrong foot.
What meeting is this?
It was, we were being introduced to all the various people that we would be working with if we were elected. Another group that doesn't like the sunshine is the Sarasota or Gulf Coast, whatever it is.
Community Foundation?
No, the Organization of Realtors is.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I took that in there. Oh, we don't allow that.
So here's, and you're big on your video camera. I've
And-
seen it everywhere you go. Are you telling me that when and if you get elected as city commissioner, you'll keep your videotape on all the time? Will it be a Big Brother type experience for you?
Most of the functions of the city commission are videotaped. I wouldn't have to videotape.
I'm talking about like all the meetings that people have in the offices, all the lobbying that gets done.
Somebody comes in to lobby me, he's either going to be on camera or he's not going to talk.
Okay, well that's an interesting. that's actually pretty interesting because I have issues about the way people get to lobby and behind closed doors.
Well, that's ridiculous. A guy come in there and he say, "Hey, I'll give you 500. Push this through for me." Well, you know, that's just downright corruption on the face of it. You know, I mean,
you're making some grand accusations. So unless
well, I
you
didn't mention anybody's name.
But I know that. But it's not proper to do that unless you can back up those things. Let's focus on some facts.
What they talk about lobbying, that's generally what it is.
All right. Well, let's talk about another issue.
Okay.
Renewable energy. We used to be on the cutting edge. We used to be real supportive of it. The residents always asked for it. And yet the current city commission got rid of the renewable energy fund by FP&L. In fact, it was spearheaded by Commissioner Turner and also Commissioner Atwell. Would you have supported getting rid of that fund, and would you support putting it back?
What were they doing with the money?
There wasn't any money in it. It was just